Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Susie Say That. Today's topic is just because you were invited doesn't mean God sent the invitation. Think about that. Just because you were invited doesn't mean that God sent the invitation. What does that mean to you? Do you go to a lot of functions, or do you go to every time you're invited somewhere? Do you go? Or if you're not invited, do you go? Because I've done that before too. Wasn't invited, but still went. We must be aware of what we're doing this summer, this spring, as we're being invited to graduation parties, and we're being invited to sit on the deck with others or families or friends, or we're invited to sit back in the pit, and get a fire going. We need to be aware of where we are taking God. We need to be aware, and I'm talking to those of us that say we're followers of Christ. We need to be aware. And the reason we do need to be aware is because real people will invite us places just to say you're a Christian man or woman or young adult and you were there. Just to say, put your name on it, you were there. And they'll be having monitoring spirits. And those are people that sit back and see everything that you're doing, making sure if you're having a drink, making sure if you say something out of place, making sure if you do any of those things, and they're just putting it within themselves. They're monitoring your behavior. And then as they monitor your behavior, then they want to go and talk about it. You have to be mindful of those kind of things, because parties, get together, and all these things. I'm not telling you to be careful and just reject the invitation. I'm just saying be mindful of where you take God. Be mindful about it, because everyone don't want you there. Some people invite you because, like I just said, they have a monitoring spirit. They want to get the ups on you, see what you're doing. So then when they get the ups on you, then they want to injure you with what you were doing. They want to talk about you. They want to call the best friend, or they want to tell your coworker or somebody, oh yeah, I seen that person there. Oh yeah, they were drinking a wine. They were drinking. And I'm telling you all what I know, because I've experienced it. I went places and just, they invited me, and I thought, okay, I'll go. And then there were people, I found out later, there were people there that was monitoring me. And I, that's a monitoring spirit to make sure what Susie's doing there, to make sure, oh, did she have a cocktail? Did she have a wine? Did she do this? Did she? And people wouldn't believe that people do that, but they do, because there's a spirit within them. They want to monitor you at some of these get-togethers that God did not tell you to go to in the first place. But you went because you received an invitation. Everyone that's inviting you somewhere don't want you there. And I'm telling you, I've lived it. I've went places. People have invited me. And then when I got there, I was having a good time, and they were sitting around making sure I don't have a drink. And if I did have a drink, they want to go back and say to somebody if I had a wine. I learned a lot of lessons throughout my life about invitations, being invited places that God did not send me. So you need to be aware of that this summer as you go about. I'm not talking about the world, because the world takes care of its own. They don't care what I say. They do what they want to do. But you, those of us that wear that badge so proudly, that we are women and men, teenagers of the Christ. That's who we are. And we wear it proudly. We put it on. And we really put it on when we go to church on Sundays. Okay? We need to be careful about all those invites that we receive, and the ones that we don't, but we invite ourselves too. I used to do that too. Invite myself to places where I didn't have an invitation, but someone else said, where I'm going, they ain't going to mind if you go. Then I went there, and there was always some nonsense, some gossiping. I remember this one time I received an invite from a family member, and my cousin too, and another good friend of our families, she received it. And now God didn't tell me to go there. I just went, well, hey family, they want us all to come. We'll all go, and we're riding around in their drop top, and we were having a good time. And then my cousin, we stayed, and my cousin forgot her phone, and she went back in, and those people that invited us to their home, when she got on the porch, they were gossiping about us, and they were saying all kind of stuff. And my cousin said she just looked up, she grabbed her phone. She's like, I forgot my phone. When they came to the door, and they looked at her like, did you hear what we were saying? And my cousin said she just looked at them. She said, can you believe when she got in the car, she said, can you believe they invited us there? They want to be with us. We've been with these people all day long. And when I got on the porch, they were saying bad things about us. And I said, yeah, I believe it. And I never did go to those people's house again. I never did. Even if they never admitted to it. They never said, hey, Susie, we're sorry for, or hey, my cousin, or hey, the other friend of the family. They never did say anything. They knew we knew, but they act like nothing ever happened. But guess what? They never sent us another invitation because they knew my cousin knew and she had told us. And if they would have, I would have declined it because I don't go anywhere today if God can't be with me. And God don't take me places where I'm going to be gossiped about, lied about. Because see, some of these people have that spirit within them and they have a monitoring spirit. And that is to say they have something in them, a spirit that monitors people's behavior when they go to these get-togethers. To see if these people going to lose their course, to see if these people have a wine or if these people have a drink or if these people say a bad word, if these people are the same they say they are when they see them with their church friends. We wear that badge strongly that we are women and men and teenagers of the Christ, Jesus Christ. That's who we are. But then we go places where he's not even wanted. We go places where as soon as we turn our back, they'll talk about Jesus, you and everybody else. Your dog, your cat, your wife, your husband, the kids. There's nothing off limit. And we experienced it. And at first it shook me a little bit. And I was like, they invited us. She said, you should have heard the stuff that they were saying. And I was like, oh no. Even then, and this has been many years ago, even then, I believe that God was letting me see that I need to deal with the invitations I received. I got it now. I got it down packed. So I don't go outside of anything that God didn't send me. I got it down packed, you all. So as you go about your summer and you go about the rest of the spring and you're invited to all these get-togethers and all these people want your presence there, make sure that God gave you the invitation. How do you know God gave you the invitation? You're going to have peace in it. You're not going to be, I don't know, maybe I should, maybe, you're not going to try to get out of it because you're going to know that that's God because God does everything in peace and order. Peace and order, everything. As you read your Bible, you will see there is nothing out of order with God. And God is not dedicated to the fact that this your family. These are my friends. God is dedicated to the fact that are these people that you keep running around to these, when you get these invitations, are they doing the will of his? Are they disciples? And sometimes God will send you to people that ain't. He'll send you sometime to witness, to take an invitation, but you'll always have peace in it. You'll be peaceful in it. When you buy a gift, if it ain't God, you're going to be thinking about how much money you spent. If it's God, it doesn't matter because you want to please God in your gifts. Okay, those are two things you need to remember. If it's God, you're going to have peace and order in it, the invitation. If it's God, you're not going to worry about how much money you spent to get there. You're not, because he'll give you the finances to get there. And guess what? We do know sometimes God will send you other places. He sent me to places. Not too long ago, I went someplace. And this person, we don't even practice the same religion. We don't even serve the same God. But I know God sent me there. I had so much peace about it when they sent me the invitation and invited me there. Okay? So you remember that. Just because you got the invitation doesn't mean God sent it. You need to remember that. I received the invitation a couple of months ago from someone. They gave me an invitation on I think it was like March the 13th, and they gave me 24 hours to answer it. Will I be attending? And it went a little bit like this. They said, we sent out the invitation to you yesterday. They sent me an invitation like at 10:30 at night. By 11 something in the daytime, they were sending me back, I need to have a reply right now, because if you don't reply, we're closing off our numbers today. 24 hours, they didn't even give me 24 hours. And I had to decline. I said, thank you, but no thank you. I will not be attending. Because other people had got the invitation month prior to me. Because they asked me about it. Did you get your invitation yet to that? And I was like, no, I haven't got it. So then when they did send it to me, they said, you got to do it right now. So I had to decline. You see, God didn't send me that invitation. I'm giving you a good example so you can know that when God, because if God would have sent the invitation, it would have been peace in it. It wouldn't have been any rush. It would have been organized, because when God sends you invitation, there's peace and it's organized. It's nothing that's out of order with God. God is an order God. He keeps things in order, and he keeps our life in order when we listen to what he tells us. So I'm very, very, really, I don't get off into when people send me invitations. I don't, because I got to hear from God. Did you send it? And most of the time I do go to things that people send me invites to. And I do. I was with one of my sister friends that we travel with. And she wanted us all to go with her. We had an amazing time because she sent the invitation, and she's all about peace and order because she's God's woman. She's God's daughter, so she's all about peace and order. She never did do anything wrong or say anything wrong. She's just about peace and order. So I accepted that invitation. I accepted it. And with her, I can tell you, she sent it with good intentions. So that's the thing. Know who your invitations are coming from. And if God did not send it, you got no business there. And he will send you among the world to do his work. But you'll always have peace and order. Won't be no chaos with God. There's no chaos. There's no, I wish I wouldn't have went with God. When you have God, you're glad you went because you fulfilled his will for your life to be there. So you remember that this summer, the rest of this spring, as you get those invitations, and you ask yourself, did you send this, God? And then you ask God. You say, God, did you send this? God, I need to know, did you send the invitation? If your spirit is vexed and you feeling some kind of way, you owe God. Your responsibility is to God. It's not to family and friends. It's to God. Did God send the invitation? Okay? Till next time.